This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop about research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared from our students, faculty, and other members of our USC community.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back into Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the Viterbi School of Engineering.
And hi, everyone. I am Emily Powis, a senior studying biomedical engineering here.
Do you think that they can hear that we're both really tired?
I really hope not. That was my biggest attempt to sound really cheery and excited.
Well,
at 8 a.m.
That's what I was thinking, is that I was also doing my best, and I realized I don't think either of us pulled it off. Well, anyway, hi, everyone. And I hope that you are enjoying the podcast so far. We're still rolling along with our episodes. Emily and I are both here. We both admitted to each other right before we started that we're both very, very tired. And it's probably because we're recording at 8 a.m. on a Friday, because, we're brilliant like that. And it's probably has something to do with the fact that we've had a lot of stuff going on in the last couple of days. I actually saw you in person yesterday. How crazy is that?
Yeah, that was so crazy. It was so weird seeing all of the admission staff and also all the other VSAs in person.
Yeah, we had our new student welcome yesterday, and it was a trippy thing. I've been on campus for the last 2 days, which is just weird in of itself. And then I realized today I'm like really tired. I'm just like really tired going to the campus and then doing stuff outside. But it was so cool seeing everybody. So cool seeing you. I have to admit, when the group was there and you waved to me, I kind of like acknowledge you, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And then I realized after we started, I'm like, oh, that's Emily, because it was from a distance and everybody has masks on, and I'm like, yeah, okay, people are waving. What's up?
Yeah, I feel like it's really hard to recognize people, and you're easier to recognize because you are pretty tall and like distinct, and I feel like there were a lot of short girls around.
That was my thing. I think it was the thread of a lot of our conversations, is that everybody, because there's been at least a year and a half, 2 years of talking to people on Zoom, and now seeing them in person, the number one thing to think about was like, you're not the size that I thought you'd be. Like everyone's like a different size. And some people I had never met. Actually, almost all of you I had never met before, other than on Zoom, or like just maybe in passing. So other than the seniors, and I have spent time together because they were, sophomores when we last saw each other. But anyway, it's been a trippy couple of days. Actually on par for that, this episode, we bring in Natalie and Steven, and we talk a lot about what's going on this week, right? You want to tell everybody what they're about to listen to?
Yeah, so you'll kind of hear about recent updates at USC, like how Welcome Week works. We reflect on how our Welcome Weeks went and how the Welcome Week that is happening this year is going. And then we talk about the Baum Family Makerspace, which is a new building on campus, and how that works and all of its different features. And then beyond that, we just kind of reflect on things at USC, excitement about going back and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is a exciting time. Lots of stuff is changing as we go, but everybody's moved in and everybody's getting ready for classes to start on Monday. So let's get out of the way and get you all kind of tuned in to this inside scoop of what's happening at USC this week for Welcome Week at USC 2021. Hi, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Why don't you start off by letting people know who you are? Give them the name, major, hometown, all that stuff. Natalie?
Yeah, so I'm Natalie. I am from San Diego, California, which I will always say is better than LA, but besides the point.
Shots fired right in the beginning.
Yeah, and I'm studying civil engineering. I'm going into my third year.
Hey everyone, I'm Steven. I'm studying mechanical engineering from Orange County, California, and I'm going into my senior year.
So Natalie going into your junior year, you said, right?
Yeah.
I messed up. And Stephen going into your senior year. Emily's here as well. Emily, say hello.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily, and I'm also a senior studying biomedical engineering, but I'm not from California. I'm from Denver.
2 seniors and a junior, and it's an exciting week this week. We're all to be as transparent as possible. We're recording this in the middle of the week, but it is move-in week at USC. It's an exciting time as students are wrapping up their summers and getting into kind of what that college life is going to be. We have a lot of students moving onto campus over the last couple of days, and currently they're still doing it. I think one of the first starting points here is that it's a different year. Everything is slightly a little bit, we're getting back to normal, but we're not 100% back to normal. But it's still an exciting time. Natalie and Steven, do you guys remember your move-in experiences? Let's start with before you're like, it was like the week before you're going to go. What were you worried about? What were you thinking about in kind of that move-in process of coming to college?
Yeah, I remember it's kind of crazy. I did have the luxury of I live like an hour away, so it wasn't as crazy. I got to buy a lot of my supplies like around home or whatever. But
you weren't getting on a plane and figuring out how to get things into checked luggage.
Yeah, so that made it a little easier. But I just remember it was like this hectic time of like 2 days like before I was planning on driving to LA. It's like, oh my gosh, like what do I need? Like you've never just kind of moved like a portion of your life somewhere, because it's like if you've moved houses, you usually take like almost everything. But it was like, all right, like what clothes am I bringing? What random stuff do I need? I don't forget your laptop and all these like small things that you think you could forget. It's like, oh, did I want to bring like a comfy chair to put in my dorm room? So all these kind of small things. And then once I kind of got all that figured out, it was like a lot of back and forth of lugging things from the car to the room. And then stopping at like Target because it was like, oh, I probably need more like shelving or something to put clothes in, and all these like small little things. But it's like this really exciting time because then kind of end up in your dorm room, and then your roommate shows up that you've never seen before in your life or chatted with a little time, but that's it. And then you're like, oh, hey, what's up, man? But it was just so fun. And then like you already like start meeting people right away just from that move-in day. So I remember it was a crazy time, but it was really cool too.
My move-in day, I tried to make as less crazy as I possibly could.
Yeah.
So I had everything packed and ready to go like a week in advance. And then I believe my move-in time was like 10 o'clock, and I got there at 7 a.m. And I was like, hey, I don't want to wait in the lines later. Is it okay if I show up a bit early and just move in now? And they're like, yeah, no one else is here. So by the time I had all my stuff like in my dorm room, I had everything put away, everything organized. I walked downstairs and there was a line wrapped around the dorm for everyone to get in with their carts. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad I avoided that. But then later on, once everyone else got moved in, it was nice because everyone congregated in like the courtyard area. And so there were like 40 people out there, like 40 students, and everyone was just talking and just kind of figuring out like, oh, who lives on my floor? Who am I gonna get lunch with later? Like it was very cool because you could tell how like new and fresh faced it all was.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience as well, except I was not nearly as well prepared as you, Natalie. I kind of went like, because I had to fly with a lot of my stuff. So it's kind of like my mom was like, we're just going to get you stuff in LA. So I didn't really bring much here except for clothes. And then my grandma lives in Orange County. So we just like shipped a bunch of stuff to my grandma's house, which I'm sure she appreciated. And then we drove all the stuff over, and my mom rented like a huge car, which was like totally unnecessary. But yeah, and moving day was pretty chill. My grandma came with us, and I feel like that was the hardest part, was just making sure she was entertained.
Yeah.
As grandmas need to be entertained. So that was it. And then, yeah, actually, because I moved in a year earlier than you, Natalie, but I had the same experience. Everyone was in the courtyard, and I met so many people. And that was when I first met someone in biomedical engineering. And I was like, I need to switch to this major because I do not want to be a math major anymore. So yeah, those people I met those first day, I like still like they're still like some of my best friends in the major. It's actually insane.
Very cool. So with what, when you look back on this time, what was the one worry that you had that you actually didn't need to worry about at all? And then conversely, what was something that you didn't expect?
Oh, something. Okay, this one's kind of like a small little detail, but I was really worried about getting to classes like super
Oh, you
early.
thought you're going to be like super, well, this is a trend now we're noticing with you, is that like you think you're going to be late to everything?
Yeah, no, that's definitely it. I always think I like something's gonna happen. I'm like, I'm gonna go walk to class, and then like a bird's gonna poop on me, and I have to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna have to clean it. Like I just think of like all the possible things that could go wrong, and I'm like, therefore, I need 45 minutes in case any of those things happen, and I have time
My
to
God,
adjust.
I would not survive an hour in your brain. You're stressing me out.
I know I'm working on that. But that was a big concern about mine too. It was just like, when do I need to show up to classes? And like, kind of what if I was accidentally late because I had to walk from like one end of campus to the other? And like, you're kind of not used to how big the school can be.
Or you think it's super big.
Yeah. So I'm like, I have my like little Google Maps. I'm like, it says it's going to take me 10 minutes, but I only have 5 minutes to get there. Like, like you're kind of freaking out about that.
I use Google
But
Maps too.
yeah, I kind of still do. And I feel like I'm going to need to do that again.
You're a tour guide. You can't do that.
But yeah, so that was kind of my concern, was just like being late to everything, but it's actually okay. And you are able to make it across campus in the time period between classes, which is good.
Yeah, you always can. You always can. And I think that's the best part about it, that any first year student is like that first day, like, oh, I better get up because I need to have an hour for breakfast and I need to make sure that I'm well rested. I'm going to get some reading in before my class goes. I'm going to take a leisurely walk that would take me, it's probably going to take me 20 minutes to get there. And then all of a sudden, cut to like a week later, you're getting up 2 minutes before class starts and you realize you're still making it there on time. Like I mean, obviously I'm speaking a little hyperbolic, but this idea of like what you worry about versus how you actually manage stuff is a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that felt very accurate. I like, not necessarily I wasn't too concerned about the walk between classes, but like giving myself a lot of time. And then it's like, oh, I know where it is. Like, like waking up right before class.
I remember when I moved into college, I had this like really weird apprehension to my like roommates. Like I was like, I don't know who they are yet. And I remember like there was like a shared like kitchenette type environment. And I remember my mom, like I brought like a couple plates and bowls and whatever. And my mom was unpacking and she takes and she goes and puts it out in the kitchenette. And I remember getting mad at her saying like, I don't know these people. Why would you take that out there? I know, I was this really weird apprehension to like protecting my stuff. And granted, that was silly beyond all belief. And it didn't matter very, very quickly what was going on. But I remember feeling that I guess everybody kind of exhibits their own internal struggles when you're moving into college, right? Like who you make friends with, how you make friends with them, what level of comfort you have with them, what level of stress you have regarding your schedule. But hopefully what I think helps that is all the activities, right? There's so many different welcome week activities, what we call welcome week. A lot of other colleges call it that, or sometimes they call it orientation. We call it welcome week. And granted, this year is going to be slightly different with scheduling and spacing related to kind of COVID requirements and keeping everybody safe. But do we know what's happening this week? Do we know what students are looking forward to and what they're experiencing?
I definitely know that the Welcome Back concert is happening this Saturday. At least that's last I heard. It's still happening.
Oh, cool. Who's playing?
Sure that they only announce it like 1 or 2 days in advance.
Oh,
so people don't swarm the venue, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's like just so people kept on their toes, keep it a secret. But
so Saturday night concert. Cool.
I know that's pretty exciting. And I also heard that they are doing dorm retreats. Someone in Ilium, they're doing a retreat, I believe, today. And that's actually pretty fun too. I remember doing a retreat. So it's like when everyone goes into everyone who lives in that dorm, they kind of travel somewhere just to get to know each other. Like when I lived in McCarthy, we went to Echo Park and then we watched a Dodgers game. And that was our retreat. Yeah.
That was the same for you, Emily, you said?
Yeah, they did the exact same thing. I thought I was special, but okay.
Steven, did you have a dorm retreat?
No, I believe that was only the honors colleges do that. Is that correct, Natalie and Emily? I think because you said McCarthy and Iliam, right?
I think sometimes like the non-honors ones do stuff too.
There's
Um,
definitely lots of activities. There's lots of get-togethers and
Yeah.
kind of different ways to get to know one another. They each of the residence halls, each of the resident advisors, each of the floors, they all do lots of different things in that first week.
yeah, and I know they have these like they're not like people can sign up for them at any time. So like they go to like the arts district or like they probably go to Echo Park and all those things. And you can sign up to go on one of these tours and like an RA or an orientation advisor will take you. And I know a lot of people who met their friends through that and they're like still friends with them now. And I feel like that's my favorite part about Welcome Week is it's like everyone is so eager to meet everyone and to like introduce themselves and like get your Snapchat, Instagram, phone number or whatever. And I feel like the first couple months of school are like that. And it's just so much fun. And then you look back on it and they're like still your friends. And it's cool to like know so many people on campus just from those couple months.
Oh yeah, I would just say that like I think from just welcome week alone, before classes even started, like I still have maybe like 15 really good friends and
Wow.
all the way through senior year, which is kind of crazy. It's like I've known these people for so long, and even we also had like orientation, and there's probably like another 10 from orientation. I was
Yeah.
like during the middle of the summer. So it's kind of crazy how like I met these people such a long time ago. They're still really good friends of mine, like three years later.
I was gonna say though, I remember Viterbi had a welcome event, like pretty, I believe it was like around noon or something. And I went there and we were like first split up into our majors. So you're just like sitting with people in your major. And I sat Nat down to this girl and I was like, oh, she seems cool. She was a little quiet. And like the first thing I said to her was like, I hope I don't stain my pants sitting on this grass. I don't know why, but that was just the one thing I said to her. And she just went, oh, okay. And then I found out she like lived down the hall from me, and now we're best friends. So
So what was the point of your stained pants comment? Like,
was that it was because that was the first thing out of my mouth. Like she
oh,
was
you're
just, like,
embarrassed by
not
that.
know.
Like that's all you said.
Yeah, I like
Okay, I
I
see.
I didn't really know how to go with that, but it was just like it's my point is like at these random events, like you just say weird stuff and you're like
Mm,
meeting people and you like kind of don't know what's
I
going
see.
on.
Yeah.
But then the person you embarrass yourself in front of might end up being your best friend.
Is she your best friend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I missed that part. So that was kind of where I was going with this is that so many of these things can seem overwhelming, right? Like you just got thrown into a place you've never been to before, and all of a sudden there's all these activities. What is your guys' best advice to incoming students as they start navigating these events? I think you started giving this advice in your examples.
Yeah, I would say it's just like come in like super open, you know. I think like the main thing I did was just like I was excited to meet a lot of new people. So it was just like kind of like I think you really have to like put yourself out there more.
Yeah.
I'm like I've become significantly more extroverted since attending USC than I was before.
Right.
So it was a lot of me like being like putting myself outside my comfort zone, I guess. And then you meet a lot of people all over the United States and the world, and it's just like a really cool time to meet a lot of people. And it's not just people in your major, you're meeting people from all across USC, which is another cool aspect from Welcome Week that differs from like the people you meet maybe in just your classes.
That's so interesting, Steven, because I feel like I've gone the total opposite direction. I was extremely extroverted when I came to USC, and I still am extroverted, but definitely more introverted now. And I loved Welcome Week and all of those things. I went to every activity, I talked to everyone, and that was like so much fun for me. But I think now, like if I go to Welcome Week, I'm definitely not going to approach it like that. I think if you are someone who needs your space, like some personal time, you could like schedule like maybe like 30 minutes, like just alone in your room, just because it's so many people and saying the same introduction over and over again can definitely get like kind of tiring. So I think it really depends on like what your social like style is on how you're going to approach Welcome Week. And I'm sure like there are other people like that here too, because that's kind of how USC rolls. There's one of everything. So
Yeah, I think I found myself gravitating more towards the events you sign up for. Like you were saying earlier, Emily, how you could like sign up to explore a different part of LA. So like we went to the last bookstore and then like the Grand Central Market. And I really enjoyed that because it was like a smaller group you could get to know. Whereas I feel like with the Welcome Back concert, it's just like, okay, we're gonna throw everyone in this area, like talk to each other, which was like super unstructured. And I just kind of didn't know like where to go if you didn't come with like a certain set group. So I really enjoyed the stuff you could like the events that were scheduled for you, you could plan. Because I think that also helps for the people who kind of just can't like start a conversation right off the bat. It like gives you something, a common ground to talk about, you know?
You know, in doing this in so many years and seeing different incoming classes come in, I think one of my favorite things to watch are the welcome activities, because you can see everybody's kind of baggage of apprehension that they bring in, and everybody has a different level, which you all kind of just basically described. Some are very open to like, hey, what's going on? My name's so-and-so. And others are just like not really sure of themselves. Others have somehow developed a defense mechanism of bringing a group with them. Like maybe they somehow even just met them on the walk over. And so they just kind of stay tied to them. And personally, I've been in all of those social situations and I understand that method. But the one advice that I can give in seeing each incoming class come through is that, you know, this is the time, these first couple of weeks in classes and residence halls and dining halls and just passing by, that this is the time where you have the opportunity to just say hi to somebody and you don't know what they're dealing with. Maybe they're incredibly introverted and unable to say hi. And the fact that you actually just said hi to them opens up a whole conversation. Or if you say, I'm worried about what I'm going to stain my pants, maybe they were really nervous and didn't know how to find a way into the conversation. But Natalie, you found that way into the conversation, whether you meant to or not. It would be super interesting to get her perspective on things, on like, was she super shy and thank God you said something, right? Was that the thing that like made it happen?
Yeah.
Do you know?
So we've talked about this a lot because she loves saying how funny of a story that is. Cause she was like, this random girl is just coming to sit next to me. She just starts talking to me. But she told me that she was like internally like freaking out. Like she was like,
see,
I don't know who
knew
to
it.
talk to. I don't know what's going on. And so I think she appreciated what I was saying, but because what I was saying was so like out of left field, she like didn't know how to respond.
I mean, I'll be the first to say, don't try to go for out of left field comments because you might just come across as weird. And I don't think that was an out of left field comment. I don't think that was an out of left field comment. But my advice is just say hi. Hey, how's it going? What's your name? Where are you from? And Emily, I can understand how that might get tiring over a period, but I think that this is the time period to really put yourself out there, because the one thing I always remind students is that everybody always feels like they're the ones that don't know anybody, but what you don't understand is that none of you know anybody. Like you all came from so many different places, and enjoy this somewhat nebulous fog that you're going into as like, you know what, I can't make mistakes here. There's no way for me to make a mistake, and try to do whatever you can to whatever social structures you believe exist from your high school. Just realize they don't exist here, because nothing's been created yet. Everybody's coming from different backgrounds. So take advantage of that. And these, I will say from an administrative standpoint, the reason that there are all these activities, small group activities, structured, big group activities, loose, is exactly why you all just said you like some and you don't like others. The point is, quite honestly, to overprogram you. We want to make it so damn busy that you guys forget that you're actually alone and you've moved here from somewhere and you don't know anybody and you're about to start classes. It should be like this, like really weird kind of like, oh, I didn't even realize classes began because I've been in so many different things. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm in class. And it's kind of this weird, like you fall asleep one day and the next day it's midterms.
Totally happened to me.
It's by design. It's over programming by design. And it's meant to be like, there's too many things for you guys to do because you can choose what sounds cool to you. And so that's my advice to everybody, is just get out there. Don't hold back. Just, of course, to your own wellness, but that's important. This year's different, right? You guys are coming back after being gone for a while. And I find it interesting that I think I've said this before on the podcast, but only seniors are ones that have had a full year on campus.
Wow.
So Steven and Emily, you're the only ones that have had a full year on campus. Natalie, you had a semester in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it was like 7 months. Yeah.
Semester and a half, maybe. Mm-hmm. So you've actually never completed a full year on campus, Natalie. Have you thought about that? Like what that's going to be like?
I have thought about that, and I'm like not prepared for any like freshmen or sophomores to ask me questions about where things are or like how to do things on campus. So I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, the first you don't get, what's funny? You know what I'm excited about for you, Natalie, is there is a feeling that I used to refer to as the sophomore feeling. And sophomores generally have this same sense of apprehension that they did coming back from first year. And maybe Emily and Steven can jump in and see whether this is true or not. But there's this idea of like, okay, here I go, I'm coming back. And what do I do? And then all of a sudden you start walking across campus and you realize, oh my God, I know so many people and I know exactly where something is. And I know that if I actually just turn left here, I can shave another 45 seconds off my walk. And you just start realizing like, oh wait, this is my place. Like I own this place. This is my house. It's not I'm visiting, because freshman year you always feel like you're visiting. Sophomore year you realize, oh no, this is my house. And one of the things you also recognize is you start recognizing all the first year students. You can see them a mile away.
Yeah, I feel like now coming back, it's like just because of COVID, it's like, oh, like I don't remember this. Like walking around campus, it's like super interesting. Like now I have a new set of eyes. Like one thing I notice a lot now is like just the trees on campus are so like different and beautiful. And like I've actually been talking to a lot of people about them and how like a lot of them are from like different areas of the world and stuff, and they take a lot of upkeep. But it's a cool lens to come through. And I don't know if Steven has this, but for me, I'm like, well, I remember when study hall was here, and I remember back when this was here, and back when we had an Abercrombie in the village, but now there's a Lululemon pop-up. I feel kind of old, like.
Wow, you guys are like really old.
But yeah, that's kind of like when I talk to freshmen now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like not that much has changed, but I definitely feel like I have some sort of like, I've seen the old ways and now I see the new, and I get to like.
Are you telling old man stories, Steven?
I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't know. It's like, I guess for me, it's kind of interesting because it's like, because I still live near campus all of last academic school year, but I probably only went on it like 3 or 4 times. Like I barely went on campus. So I feel like the thing to me that I'm like is kind of weird. Like I know where everything is and all that, but I'm kind of forgetting like all the building names. Like I'm like,
oh yeah,
does like TCC stand for like Tudor Campus Center? I think.
Yes,
like,
yes, it does.
It's been like, but it feels like it's been such a long time since I've been around all these different buildings and stuff, and like, so I like know where everything is, but I'm also where I'm like I'm gonna have to like think for a minute when like I look at my schedule and see where my classes are, because it's like,
yeah,
where's which one is ZHS or something, like stuff like that, all these acronyms, and like I feel like you got to a point where you're so comfortable, like sophomore year, like kind of like you said, like in the beginning, you're like, oh, like I'm not totally sure if I know where everything is, and then like a week later you're like flying down campus on your skateboard or something, you're like totally back in the groove. But I feel like I'm gonna go over that slightly again, just because it's been such
a while. Yeah. What are you guys most excited about in coming back to campus?
Oh, I'm looking forward to, fingers crossed, football games.
Yeah,
because they did announce football season's back, and I just think that's going to be super fun to go to and a completely different experience because, freshman year, same idea we've been going over. You're kind of like freaked out, not really sure where to sit, what to do. But then hopefully I'm going into this a bit more confident now. So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, football season's back. Do you guys know? I don't know the answer to these questions, so I'm kind of throwing a curveball out. Is it just everybody in seats as normal, or are they making changes to capacity?
I think like as far as LA standards right now, there's no restrictions on seats. I know I have like friends that have gone to like the LAFC, which is just the soccer team right next to our school, and there is no restrictions on seating. So I feel like USC will probably just follow LA guidelines right now.
Okay. And you guys are all set. You guys, all 3 of you, are planning on attending games?
Oh yeah.
You are? Natalie's, Emily?
Football games aren't really like my thing.
I was waiting for you to say that because I'm watching you in this conversation. I'm like, you need to jump in here because I have a feeling you have a different opinion.
No, yeah. Normally football games are like the day that I go night climbing or something. Like I'll join for the tailgate and stuff, but I'm not really like, I don't need to go to the game.
Got it. Is it just the sport itself doesn't interest you?
No, I like watching football. It's just like a lot of people. And like my
Got it.
freshman year, I lived for it, but now it's kind of like I'd rather like kind of tailgate with a few people in my backyard or something, and then like just chill, like watch the game, like eat food, look cute, take pictures. Like I don't need to be like in the thick of it in the game.
Eat food, look cute, but it's crowds. You want to stay away from the crowds.
Yeah, mostly crowds.
It's definitely a crowd. It's definitely a lot. I mean, I think Coliseum, I mean, they just redid it all. I'd be excited to see most of those construction changes that were going on in the time period, because they reduced capacity. Now it's somewhere around 90,000. Is that what, do you guys know? 90,000 seats in the Coliseum? 85,000?
Oh, I completely forgot they're changing the seats and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they changed it. It should be more comfortable, which is good because those seats have been in there forever. But yeah, it's definitely a crowd. And Emily, my wife, is totally with you on crowds. Anytime there's a crowd, it's like, I don't know if we should go in there. It's just something that she started developing probably right around your age. So something that's going to keep coming up down the road. What do you guys think of the team? Are we excited for our prospects, or do we have any idea? Because everything I read is I have no idea.
I think like, I don't know, we had a really good recruiting year. So I think, or I guess years, like, so I think there's good prospects. We're getting like a lot of young talent, a lot of top high school players coming into the team. And then we still have some like veteran players that have been on the team for a while now, like Keaton Slovis is going to be a third-year starter. So I think with him, and we have like Drake London, a really good receiver. We have some big guys on defense. So I think we're in a pretty good situation this year in terms of at least really climbing, like making sure we're top of the Pac-12, and we'll see what happens from there.
Natalie, how closely do you follow all this?
Not at all. I go to sing a song.
You go to tell people what your experience is like at a football game.
Yeah, well, I mostly just go because I like hanging out with like my group of friends, and like we're actually split down the middle. So my main house, there's 6 of us, and 3 of us go to actually watch the football, and then 3 of us go just to vibe. So we go to the football games, and we all like obviously do the game day gear. And then when they do like the USC song, you put your fight on, you do your little chant things.
Oh yeah.
But that's what I like about it, just because like the camaraderie and just brings everyone together. I can't say I'm following when someone gets a foul, red flag. I don't know the word for that. I don't follow that, but I do enjoy just like everyone coming together. And I think that's like a big school spirit thing that I was really looking forward to.
Awesome. Cool. I mean, I think that's important to know, especially because sometimes when students are looking at colleges, they're like, so what is this like? And more to the point of like, what if I'm not into it? And what I like about all 3 of you is that we just got all 3 different perspectives as to what football season is like. And people can say, I love football season, or I love that we have football, but you all 3 have different reasons why you do. Like there's just kind of the get together in the morning, but I'm not going to go to the game, Emily. There's Natalie, I'm going, but I'm going to hang out there. And I'm not really kind of watching. I don't know exactly the detail that's going on, but it's a vibe. And then Steven's in here talking about Pac-12 prospects and figuring out where we're going to land in the Pac, in the North and the South, and what the Pac-12 championship game is going to look like. And what our recruits are looking like over the last couple of years.
We just saw you come into your element. I'm like, we need to give you a sports like episode recurring.
Probably. But what was funny is it was simultaneously watching you just go and then watching Natalie's eyes glaze over. And I was like, okay, I need to get back to Natalie on this and figure out where she's coming from, because you talked about football season being fun, but then I realized you have no idea, nor do you care what Steven's talking about. And it's totally cool. I get it. And I think that's what I wanted to point out for people, is that it's this, everybody has a different appreciation for game days, and game days are fun because it's this cool kind of like celebratory element, and it's very different than high school, right? I mean, like I mean, everybody has different high school football experiences, but like this doesn't really exist somewhere else, right?
Oh, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say it's nice rooting for a team that can win as opposed to my high school football team.
Yeah, my
Absolutely.
high school football program was like really big because I went to one of the largest schools in Colorado. And we had like a lot of school spirit, and we had like certain traditions and stuff. But the football games were kind of like hostile. Like if you were a freshman, like they were trying to get you out of the stands and stuff the whole time.
What?
And yeah, it was like this big thing. Like the stand was
This is at your high school. Just
Yeah,
to
my high
clarify, people are
school.
not listening very well. This is at your high school. This is not a
Yeah.
USC thing.
At my high school, they have a huge stadium, but only the students only sit in one section because that's just how it's always been done. Like there's literally another section open for them, but they won't stand there because it's not where we've done it before. And it's like stratified. It's like seniors in the front, then juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. And like when I was a freshman, it was just constantly like people yelling for freshmen to go home. And so I didn't
This
like
does not
football
sound
games.
good at all.
Yeah. And so when I went to my first USC football game, I was fully expecting that to happen to me. And that doesn't happen at all.
No, not at all. I think that's another thing to talk about is like what people like worry about. Like, oh my God, is it what's going to happen at this game? Like what traditions are there? And I think that's the best part about it is that the only tradition is have a good time. However, you're having a good time, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say also like as a freshman, like I don't know, don't be afraid to make yourself feel at home. Because I was always like, should I participate in this? Because this is my first year here. I know
Yes.
it's a tradition.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you should.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna be like, oh, it's your first year. You can't kick the pole on your way to the stadium because that's like a tradition we all do. We all walk by these poles, we kick them for luck,
flagpoles.
and then we walk to the Coliseum. And it was just kind of like, isn't someone gonna know I'm a fraud? But it's like that's not true at all.
Yeah, and to help clarify for people listening, is a tradition for good luck that when everybody makes their way to the Coliseum, you essentially march down Truesdale Avenue, which is the center of campus. You're going south on campus toward the Coliseum, and right before you're about to cross Exposition Boulevard, there are 3 large flagpoles, and you'll hear it as you start approaching. Ding, ding, ding. You kind of hear that as you kind of walk up, and then you take your turn as you walk on by. Do you all have a specific flagpole that you kick? Do you have a specific style, a specific way you do it, or is it just you get it in on your way? I'm curious.
I just have to run to one until I don't know which one it'll ever be.
Yeah, I'd say what's nearby.
Whatever's close to you, just get the tap in.
Yeah, what's on the path?
Okay.
I can't say I've ever done it. Is that awful?
Yeah, that's awful. But you just said you don't go to games, so why would you?
Well, I went to games my freshman year. I feel like I have no excuse.
That's okay. Maybe you'll get it in before you graduate. Maybe
Okay,
get
yeah.
a one game this year. Maybe have the full experience once this year.
Yeah. And then I have to
Right.
jump in all the fountains too. Those are like the 2 things on the bucket list.
I've never jumped in a fountain.
I haven't either.
All right. Changing topics quickly. Something else that's starting up that I know you guys are excited about. It opened while everyone was away in the pandemic, but that's the Baum Family Makerspace. Have you guys had a chance to go in there?
Yeah,
Tell us about it.
it's been super exciting. So I'm the president of 3D Free, which is USC's 3D printing club.
Yeah.
So we've kind of been in there all over the summer, like because we had to move all our stuff from our old lab space to the new space we have in there.
Mhm.
And it's really exciting because now we have access to a whole bunch of like lathes and CNC machines, and there's a large scale 3D printer in there as well. It's pretty much has all the tools you need for whatever project that may come up with that you want to do. Like it could be a personal project, it could be for a class, all of that's going to be there. And then also a lot of the USC major clubs are in the makerspace as well. So I think it's going to be a really cool chance for a lot more collaboration to happen and to see like, oh, like this team is using like this material or whatever to make their lane stronger. Could we actually apply that to what we're doing over here? Or you could start like, I feel like we could learn a lot more from each other because before it was like super separated. It would just be clubs found whatever space they could within USC's campus and they would stay there. But now we're going to have like vision into all these different clubs and what they're doing. I'm super excited for that. And it's going to be a really cool space just for, I love personal projects. I build a lot of stuff. So I'm excited to have access to all the equipment they have there.
So are there just a lot of like meeting rooms that people can book out, or is there like a dedicated 3D 4E like space?
Yeah. So in terms of like club meetings and that's still gonna happen in probably just like random buildings in campus, like the common ones that people hold meetings in, kind of like previously. But the makerspace, what they have essentially is it's like a bunch of like sectioned out rooms or spaces that each club has so that they could do more of their building and stuff. So it's like
Cool.
ADT, they're the one that do the design build fly competition. they have like this little section so they could do their kind of I think they do like a little bit of like composites or whatever, and they cut foam and that type of stuff. They'll have that space there where they'll have all their personal tools and that type of stuff. But then they could also go out. There's like this large space with just a bunch of tables, workbenches, that type of stuff that you could work on. The problem, you need more space. So it kind of gives you access to a lot more space to work on things. And I guess another cool thing that I want to mention is as students, we're all going to be able to get trained and certified to use the different machines that are available to us. So it'll probably start out with basic training, be like how to use like a drill or something, like really simple stuff like that. And then you'd go through like kind of a series of different trainings. And then like if you do enough of it, like that you'd be allowed to operate like a lathe. And a lathe, if you don't know what that is, it's essentially, I would say it's more of like a cylindrical cutter. So let's say you had like just a straight rod, it'd be able to cut like into different like radii and just stuff like that. So it's like a pretty advanced manufacturing equipment that as a student, a lot of students never get access to that. So I think that's super cool that we will.
And I believe you don't even, because I know we're emphasizing that like this is for clubs to design and build stuff, but like to get training on this, you just have to be a Viterbi student, not like in a club or anything.
Open to Viterbi undergrads. I think that's the most important part, is that it is your guys' space, and students will use it in a lot of different ways. Obviously, lots of great spaces for the groups, but there's lots of individual things. As what you said, Emily, their meeting space. Yeah, there's actually both. There are some individual meeting spaces, some larger group areas. It's going to be all of the above, which can be pretty cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, because I'm doing a lot of like the engineering majors have like senior design projects for their senior year. So I'm going to be starting doing mine, and like that would be a really cool thing to utilize for my project.
I'm actually curious. Have you guys, who's on campus now? Are you guys there yet? You're there, Emily?
Yeah.
And Natalie, you're there. Steven, not there yet?
Not there yet, but I'm kind of there. I have my place set up, but I'm at home for like a few weeks.
Okay. I'm curious whether anyone has gone by. I'm going to go do this probably tomorrow just to see. Have you guys checked out the construction site for the new building?
I don't think so. I saw
Do
that
you
they
know about the new building?
No,
I don't know about that either.
What? I have to be the one to tell you everything?
yes.
Okay. So,
Computer science one, or is this a different one?
What?
Is it the computer science one, or is this a different?
It's misnamed if you call it the computer science one. It is the brand new Viterbi building. Yes, a lot of it will be focused on computer science, but the brand new Viterbi building, which is going to be the Ginsburg. What are we calling it here? Let me make sure I get the actual right term on this. Ginsburg Hall, which would be the Dr. Allen and Charlotte Ginsburg Human-Centered Computation Hall. And so
it was the computation. That's what threw me off.
right, but it is the brand new Viterbi building. I mean, when we built Tudor Hall, everyone's like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And this is going to make Tudor Hall look so bad.
Yeah, even like the Michelson building is new since I started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that new, but like my sophomore year, and that's a lab space for, I think it's just for like biological sciences.
No, it's engineering. It's more engineering in the building than anything else.
Yeah, but a lot of the BME labs are in there, and
Yeah.
that place is nice. It is so fancy in there.
It is very fancy. And this, who has screen sharing? Can someone give me screen sharing capabilities? I'm going to show you what this is
I
going to look like.
can, one sec.
So Ginsburg Computational Hall is going to be located right behind Michelson Hall.
Oh,
So
it's across this. Is it across the street from it, or is just like next?
no, right behind it. So this right here is the parking structure.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is Michelson. Let me show you here's the overlay map. So there's practice field. That number 2 is Michelson. This is the brand new building. This is CAP.
Oh, I see where that is now.
So brand new building. It's going to be gorgeous. I mean, this is did I open up the same image twice? I did. And then this is the overhead of that.
wow.
Look at that, all
Kind of a
glass.
specific question, but do you know which construction company is building this? Because I interned at a construction company, and this stuff actually like really fascinates me.
Right. But so why don't you go walk on over there
Yeah.
and check out the sign, right? Because they put their sign on everything.
Yeah, I'll bring my little hard hat and my like safety vest, and I'll like
Yeah.
walk on site and pretend I belong there.
Look at all this brand new space, brand new like opened area
Oh, I
lobby.
love the layout. That's
Right,
like
it's gonna be
awesome.
cool. We're gonna have brand new like auditorium. So like I'm saliva, I'm dripping saliva over this to like give presentations in. Right? Can you imagine having our admitted student days in this auditorium?
That's super nice.
And then brand new labs and meeting spaces. Like this is what the one side of the building is going to look like, because it's going to be all glass, and so you can see all the way up all the floors.
Wow.
Like these are all drafts, right? Things happen between design and construction, but this is going to be essentially what I like about it is if you blend kind of that feel and vibe and look of Michelson along with kind of the open social area of Tudor Hall, I feel like that's what you get.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful.
You guys should go check out that construction, because that's also something that happened during the pandemic, is that we broke ground on that. And so that is currently under construction, scheduled to open in 2023. So sorry, Emily and Steven, you will not be here for that. And Natalie, will you be?
I graduate 2023, so if it's in
You
the
might see it.
beginning of the year,
You might see it. I think it is scheduled for the beginning, but you never know with construction, right? So, but the goal is to get it up in the beginning of 23. So hopefully we'll be able to see it. And then it will be my ongoing constant favorite tradition, which is every student complains about what exists now that didn't exist when they were there, which is kind of where you were going, Emily, in the past.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I remember when this was there, and I remember when that was there. And like, it's just, everything changes. It always changes.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, I was so excited to say that, but now it's not even going to open by the time I'm here. So, oh, well.
It'll be cool. It'll be a brand new expansion to the whole school, which opens up a lot more for us to do across campus. I mean, it's a huge, almost 25% increase in our square footage at the university. 25% square footage increase of the Viterbi School at the university is what I should say. So it's a big expansion for the school overall, which I'm super, super excited about.
I heard this joke once where it's like USC stands for University of Sustained Construction, because there's always something being like something new going up, something being renovated. I always thought that was really cool, because there's always like something new to look forward to. And you kind of think, you're like, where are they finding the room to build all these new things? But it keeps happening, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, I give two different jokes. One is like, I hate summers at USC because you always have to find a different way across campus. If you guys have ever, which I don't think you've ever been on campus during the summer, but usually construction kicks into high gear over campus, whether that's like, maintaining things or fixing things. But basically it's like whatever you're usually used to walking just doesn't exist. So you have to like zigzag all across campus. And then the other one is I make the joke that our dean or our president just really hates parking lots, because every year there's a new parking lot that's gone and a building in its place, because there's just something that pops up as a result of the growth, which is cool.
Because did you guys see like there's a new building right next to the track? Like
It's
I
the
think
new
it's
track
like,
building.
Yeah.
I drove
that
by
was up in like 3 months. I was like, what? It was like totally fully built.
I had to stop on campus for an odd reason a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, what is that? Where did that come from? And it's beautiful.
And it was up fast. It was crazy.
And if anyone watched the Olympics, you saw it in commercials at least 3 different times. Because they filmed a bunch of commercials with like track athletes, like whatever it was, like a bank or whatever it was. And they always filmed them on that track. And that building was in the background.
Oh, that's so cool.
There's cool. There's always a lot of filming going on campus.
That's true. Anything else you guys want to talk about as you guys are getting all ready to go back in, and all these new students coming into play and navigating this whole new life, which is going to be interesting?
Yeah, I mean, really just looking forward to hopefully things being in person, but I know everything's always changing. So some classes I believe are like going half remote and stuff too. So that'd be interesting.
It's going to be exciting. I mean, the university is trying to push everything in person as much as they can, but so much stuff is changing, and then it's all going to be based on how stuff is working with the individual class structure. So I know you guys were telling me you guys are pretty much majority all in person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And then some classes are just remote.
Yeah, I have one of my GEs, like general education requirement classes. I'm taking anthropology. It's just entirely online and it's asynchronous, and it's supposed to be like that for international students who couldn't come back or people who couldn't get vaccinated and stuff like that.
So yeah, I'm excited. I think it'll allow for more flexibility, and like having one asynchronous class seems nice. I don't think I could handle like 6 asynchronous classes.
Right. It'll be good to all be back in person taking classes, but it might be good to have that nice blend, right? So you can kind of go back slowly and then go 100% in person. That'd be interesting. Is that what you guys are like, Natalie and Steven?
I guess I'm a person who kind of disconnects from school when summer's around, so I
Okay.
need to read some emails, but
Okay.
I'm sure it's probably going to be similar to that, because I know I am taking a general education course, so I haven't really looked at my email super closely, but I'd assume it's probably going to be pretty similar. And honestly, I'm also kind of looking forward to that. I feel like having some asynchronous stuff is kind of nice because it's like, oh, I want to do this in the morning, and you could just do it and then watch lecture later. So there was some like big positives.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, mine has to be in person. I hope so, because I don't absorb as well over Zoom, and I also I like doing assignments with people and grouping stuff together. So hopefully, as of now, all of my classes are supposed to be in person. So
Great. Well, cool. Well, anything else? I think that's a really good kind of wrapping up point. I think we got some good stuff out there, and hopefully we can have some other check-ins as we go throughout the year as far as what's happening. And I don't know, we need to come up with a cool title of this type of like, well, what's the vibe this week at USC? I don't know.
The vibe, maybe. What was the other thing you were saying? The inside scoop and the
inside
vibe.
scoop.
Yeah.
what's hot or not at USC? No.
Oh God. Oh God. I'll let you guys figure that out. Anyways, thanks so much for being here. That was a fun talk. I appreciate it. All right. Well, that was an awesome conversation. It was good to catch up with Steven and Natalie. It was kind of funny because we personally just saw Natalie and Steven yesterday, and
Yeah.
Natalie was talking about the episode while we were just chatting outside. And as I said, it's like so weird to see people in person. I still can't get over it. I don't know. Am I weird that way, or are you feeling the same way?
No, I totally understand. For me, I feel like I've been kind of desensitized to it just because of my work, because I do work in person
Mm-hmm.
and I worked at a summer camp. And I
Mm.
feel like working at the summer camp was like a big shock. It was like, oh my gosh, we're doing group activities. Like we're going to go to a dance together. We're going to
Mhm.
like go to winter parks together. And then now here it's just the same thing, but on an even larger scale. So I
Yeah.
feel like it wasn't as shocking for me, but that was like the number one thing everyone was
Okay.
talking about yesterday.
My favorite thing over the last 2 days was we had a parent event on Wednesday for incoming students, and then we had a new student event on Thursday. And it's been, without trying to say like, oh, it's about me, but it was about how these parents and students were coming up saying everything you guys did in this process of, learning about USC as they were choosing USC over other institutions. We had so many people come up to me saying like, you guys are the reason that I'm here, all these videos and the podcast. And Emily, I have to give you a quick shout out. You got mentioned to me multiple times on Wednesday by parents saying, I'm loving the podcast and I'm loving Emily. She's new. She's doing great. I listened to that whole episode. One parent comes and says, yeah, I'm listening to all of them. I just finished listening to the alumni with the hat company. And they just started bringing up all this stuff like, so for all of our parent listeners out there and all of our new student listeners out there, thank you so much for all the comments. We're really excited to keep doing this. We're glad that you're listening. And for all of our prospective students, hopefully you can see that there is a point to this, and that we're trying to show you what we got while also having some fun. And I hope that you're enjoying it. Emily, I should also let you know, we've gotten a number of emails from prospective students saying that they're enjoying the podcast, and also saying that they really appreciate everything that you guys are that you're doing, and all the students are doing, and getting this ready to go.
Yeah.
We've also got some ideas for episodes. People wanted to see some different episodes, some of which I don't think we can do, but some good feedback nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited about it, and I'm excited about all the feedback that we've gotten.
Cool. Very cool. So what else is happening for you this week? Anything exciting other than, obviously classes starting? Are you ready?
Yeah, classes are starting today. There's the sophomore scavenger hunt, which I'm
Oh,
excited
cool.
I'm working at. And then, yeah, that's about it. I'm just gearing up for classes to get started. I think I might go on a climbing trip this weekend. I don't know if you have any fun plans for this weekend.
This weekend, oh, this is goat yoga weekend. I mentioned it
Oh,
last
yes.
week. Oh my gosh, yes, goat yoga. So yes, it is basically in my in-laws and on that side, my wife's side of the family, it's like everyone's birthday at the end of August. And so there's a big family birthday celebration that's going to involve goat yoga. I have to get up super early tomorrow morning. I'm not looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Because I think we have to be in Ventura at 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, but it's
So
worth it. So it's okay.
is it? Is
Well,
it?
you're going to yoga.
I'll go. Yeah, I could do yoga here, but I'll go do goat yoga and drive an hour and a half. But I'm grumpy right now, but I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm excited about that. That is the
Mhm.
big plan. My daughter started school this week, and so she's had her first couple days of school, and that's exciting because it's first grade, so it's the first like full day. Like she went, her first full day was
Ooh.
yesterday. Went from 8 till 2:40 in the afternoon. That's the first time that's ever happened. So it was interesting, and she'll continue to adjust. And then I'm kind of rotating back on campus every once in a while. I'll
Mhm.
be at work. I'll actually be on campus twice next week again. So
Cool.
that's my new normal, trying to figure out how to get used to going into camp. Of course, my dog starts barking in the middle of this. But anyway, that's the deal. Not too exciting, not anywhere near as exciting as you all starting classes, but we'll do
Mhm.
what we can. But the other thing, like from a work perspective, from an admission perspective, we are holding a lot of events, and so starting
Mhm.
this Sunday. So I don't know when we're going to get the actual episode up, but if you haven't heard it or seen it yet, we're having a live chat this weekend with you all, some of our current students. And so if
Mhm.
you haven't checked that out, go to viterbiadmission.usc.edu/visit. Visit is a way to check out all the opportunities to visit with us, virtual for now, but we have a lot of really, really cool things going on. So check out our website to make sure that you can register for that event. There's some awesome stuff happening, and we're going to be doing student live chats for the next almost for the rest of the year. Actually, it's just every other week
Mhm.
there's a different live chat with a different topic, so make sure that you check that out. It's going to be super, super cool, in addition to all of our usual info sessions that we're holding Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:00 Pacific time. So if you're just wanting to learn more about the Viterbi School, check out the info session. You want to engage with a bunch of students, go to our student-led live chats that are going on every other Sunday, and be tuned into our website as we start announcing more events, because we're going to start bringing in now that faculty are back, we're going to start bringing in some faculty-led events as well. So lots of stuff coming down the road. Stay tuned. We'll always email you and make sure that we have new stuff going on.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all super exciting.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you very much for being here. And we will see you. Hopefully next week we'll be a little more awake with more coffee in us or something. But we'll see you next week
Yeah.
on Viterbi Voices.